Welcome to Oregon Voters Digest, the program that brings forward the social and political issues that are important to people living here in the Pacific Northwest. And now, your host, Bruce Broussard.
Welcome again to this segment of the Oregon Voters Digest. I'm Bruce Broussard, your host. And by George, we got quite a show today. I need not get through this whole business about who I am. You pretty well know who I am. But the bottom line is that we're basically following up on issues that of concerns, if you will, and today's as far as senior citizens are concerned. And as you note, I'd spent my time in Vietnam and in the military and whatever, and I'm getting at that age factor that I'm having to respond to. What do I do from a futuristic standpoint? Where do I go? What about me, my loved one, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so I said, well, it's time to get in that particular lane. And that lane are senior citizens. Mm-hmm. Senior citizens. Whether you are non-military or military, you're going to reach that point in life where you're going to need some support. And in most cases, if you want to live a few more days, you want to be in comfort as much as you possibly can. If you're well-to-do or you're not well-to-do, you're still a senior. But so consequently, if you've got the dollars, a lot of times you can pretty well get the support and aid and this, that, and the other. But the majority of us won't have that. Mm. And these are times now that we're living in some very interesting times right now. Most people are prioritizing their own issues, whereas seniors are having a little tougher time compared to the past. So I feel we need to spend some time. And since I spent a tour up in Vietnam, and spent my time in Vietnam, and I'm of age at this point in time, I thought it would be best to maybe use the lane, if you will, of retiring vets or non-retiring vets, or the like, ones who are eligible, if you will, who have identified themselves as veterans, that haven't spent time in the military, okay? And there are many seniors out there that in some cases are not standing in line and making sure that they're taking advantage of the benefits of veterans. Veterans have 100% benefit as far as the area of health and things of that nature. It's there. And a lot of us tend to pretty well discuss it or whatever, or just don't know where to go, or don't want to spend the time in the line and whatever. But guess what? As you get older, trust me, you will try to find. You can either be homeless, and there are folks who are homeless and whatever. But in all due respect, you've got the opportunity, if you will, to utilize those benefits that were given to you by the people of this country. Okay, and I'm talking the United States of America. And so if you got your DD-214, that's your contract. That's your contract with this government, that they will provide you service as much as possible. So what I'm going to do this particular round is that I just happen to have a guest that I reached out to that will kind of give us a feeling where to go and how to utilize this particular lane. And the only thing you have to do in this particular lane is to have a DD-214. Again, like I said, that's that contract. Now, naturally, as she talks, as the person that my guest talks to me, she also identifies in the private sector. So if you're not a veteran, you can still use the resources on that lane. However, as a DD-214, the military aspect of it, in all due respect, they've got something. On the other side of the situation, you may have to have some dollars or insurance or private insurance, or et cetera, or funds, whatever. But the fact of the matter is that, like I said, I want to use the veteran. I want to use the veteran concept because it'll give you the old, and then share this information. And if you're not a senior at this point in time, but you've got a loved one who happens to be a veteran, or if they're not a veteran but they're senior citizens, their moms, their dads, their aunties, friends, or this, that, and the other, here's an opportunity. What we're going to be doing this particular hour is sharing you, where do you need to go? What's your first step? What are the indicators? How do you need help? All those kinds of things. So that's what we're going to do. I kind of gave quite an introduction piece, but it's very, very important. Very, very important. Very, very important. For those individuals who serve their country in the military, and for those individuals who are seniors, big time, whether you're military or non-military. So my guest, who's going to basically take us through this whole deal, just going to lay the whole outline out. I've got a few questions that I've asked her to share with me that I will share with you to keep it down. Very simple, so you'll know exactly what to do. You'll not only you'll get the full concept, and in most cases you can play this back, because I know many of you may not have TV or AI, all this other good stuff. But the fact of the matter is, we're going to do our best thing to do to get this information out to you. And I think I've got a person who understands that, and will definitely get that information out to you. If you've forgotten about it or whatever, you can always call this number and text her, or if not that, if you can record this show and you can share it with your friends and your family members and the like. Okay, with that, I want to introduce you to you. I normally call her Kelly. It's Kelly Nesbitt. Her name is Kelly Nesbitt, and she basically runs this operation. She's got quite a background, and she's going to talk all about that aspect of it. But trust me, she's more than qualified, if you will, to pretty well be the point person to get your situation, boom. And then in all due respect, man, just another thought aspect of it, you want to make sure you want to keep this particular show, because if you haven't reached that age yet, you're getting close to it, and aspect of it, you may want to put that little piece, put it on the bulkhead, on the wall, or this, that, and the other, or put it in the safe deposit box or whatever. And when they're pulling those papers out, they can pull those papers out, and then some of those people will know what to do, because many of us don't. We really don't. Okay, you don't do this. This is not a last minute. It'll give you a few more good years. A few more good years to take off the stresses and this, that, and the other. Because you'd be surprised what you're going to be looking forward to when you're laying down on your back.
That's true.
When you're laying down on your back, and all of a sudden you got, if you own a home, if you don't own a home, whether you own a home or you don't own a home, everybody's going to be going for it. We're going to be fighting. And you don't need the stresses. This will take off the major stresses and give you a few more lives, a few more years, few more years for you to spend the time with your loved ones, etc. Okay, with that. Well, so anyway, here I go again. I'm just spending too much of my time, but I wanted to make sure you understand exactly what we're doing here on this particular show. So Kelly, welcome.
Thanks, Bruce.
Good. By the way, we had the opportunity to meet. I had the opportunity to meet Kelly at one of our local meeting with the Vietnam vets. I'm sorry, with the VFW veterans. Look at it, they're banging me already. I already seen the show. So I got
calls are coming in.
Calling in already. Okay. Well, anyway, I met her down at the organization at VFW, Veterans of Foreign Wars, and all of us were there. Trust me, she really got our attention. We were just everybody there needed the support, if you will, and so you hear where I'm coming from. It was a very important piece. But I was very impressed, and so I said, well, gee whiz. And that's, I reach out to vets, and my whole thing is to communicate with them. No vets left behind.
Yeah.
But realistically, that's where I'm at, and that's the show. It's information, getting the information out. So that's what we're doing, and that's what we're doing now with Kelly. So
Yay.
Kelly, how do we start this situation?
Well, I think.
What about introducing yourself?
Yeah. So, well, thanks for having me, Bruce.
Sure. Okay.
I'm totally honored. So my name's Kelly Nesbitt. My background is in healthcare, and I have been working as an occupational therapist for 26 years.
Wow.
And
that's locally, eh?
Yeah, well, here I do. I work at Legacy.
Okay.
And I used to work at Providence.
Okay. You're in Portland, Oregon, by the way.
In Portland, Oregon, yep. And I grew up on the East Coast. And as with my background as an occupational therapist, I've worked in pretty much every health setting.
Good.
So hospitals, home health care, psychiatric settings, community settings, and then in people's homes. Basically, as an occupational therapist, what I'm trained to do is really understand a person, and if they've had an illness or an accident, an injury, my role is to help that individual become independent again. And they might have to relearn the most basic functions in life. And that could be going to the bathroom, it could be getting dressed, taking a shower, up to, driving again, managing your medication, caring for a loved one, caring for a pet, managing your house, just all the most basic things. And like you said, if you're lying on the ground, you're going to be wishing for some of these most basic things again. And so at the root, occupational therapy looks at that. It's very function based and it's very practical. And then we have the medical background, so we understand certain disabilities and ailments in the body, because it's a very science-based profession. So it's a nice mix of science, but also like creativity. And we want to work with clients to help them become independent again, doing what's important to them. So it's about whatever that person's goal is, and then we can work with them to find creative ways to get there again. And we work with family members. Oftentimes you'll see maybe a spouse or a partner trying to care for their loved one after an incident or an accident. And so we work very closely with family members and training them some of the best ways to move about, get in and out of bed, on and off the toilet, in and out of the shower. So yeah, in a nutshell, that's what occupational therapy is. We don't find jobs for people. Everyone thinks we find jobs. But we call it the job of living. So occupation is really what occupies you and your day. And so those are all occupations. So putting a shirt on. It's actually a very complex task when you break it down, and we take these things for granted, right? So sometimes in life we have to relearn these basic things that we came second nature to us. So anyway, my background is in that field as occupational therapy. Very important. And I also have a background in homes and remodeling. So I had 2 different houses in my life, and both of these houses I renovated. They were total fixer-uppers, and I just picked away at each house, and when I hired a contractor, I made sure that I was always there, and I learned their skills, and I just learned the process of renovating a house. I'm not a general contractor, but I've been up close to it, and I began to understand like possibilities of a house and ways you can reshape it and make it work for you. And one thing I did was I sort of changed my house so that I had a flex space, so that I could have someone living there who was a friend, and it was sort of a mutual agreement. And they helped me pay the mortgage, I helped them have lower rent, and it really created a household, a way of living, right? And it worked for me. And then I did that again with my house here in Oregon. When I bought my second house, I made sure it was a single level home.
I heard that.
But yeah, so now I'm on another house in my life, at this phase in my life, and it's single level, and I've already made some modifications for it. And so I think because I work in healthcare, I mostly work with seniors. I constantly see the bigger picture and the later stages of end of life. And so I'm constantly thinking about how today, how I can shape my home situation to protect me later or invest in myself. So that led me to starting my company, Adaptable Abodes, which is where I now go out into the community, into people's homes, and I help them assess their house, and think about ways that they can age in place and stay there as long as possible, as safe as possible. And that can look like a myriad of things. You can do some home modifications that are $500, or you can spend $500,000, right? So, yeah. So, one of the biggest things I see, because I work in the ICU as well. So, at Legacy, I work in the emergency department in the ICU. I help people after they've had a fall, learn how to get out of bed, stand up, go to the bathroom, rehabilitate their body. And so I see the impact of what one fall can do. And that's mostly what I wanted to talk about today. Was there are things that you can do if you rent a home, if you own a home, if you have money, if you don't have money. There are things, practical things that you can do to your environment to help protect you. Because once you have that one fall, that means your risk of falling has doubled after that. And what we see is some folks can be living pretty healthy and independently, and then after that first significant fall, it sort of sets them on a different course. And then that puts you more at risk for other things to happen. And different health ailments can compound on each other. And then that's where it gets difficult to function and live as you would like to. And so, my goal is to help people think ahead and use the resources and the ability that you have right now in your life and try and make some changes now. Unfortunately, we see so many people wait until a crisis happens, and it's extremely, extremely stressful to try and make changes when you're in a crisis mode.
A point on that, in fact, going back a step, if
Yeah,
you will,
please, yeah.
because I've visited with veterans too along
Yeah.
that line, and sometimes seniors, if you will, and even when folks, that segment of individuals who get to the point at that age level,
Right.
but they've got a home,
Yeah.
and they don't want to leave that home.
Yes.
You got me?
Yeah.
And it means a lot to them.
Yes,
if
it's
you will.
huge.
And then you start thinking about, now the facility is still the same, and you can see the changes.
Yes.
Like for instance, in that cooking area.
Yes.
They're dealing with whether it be gas stoves,
Yes.
or electric stoves,
Yes.
you know what I mean, and microwaves and things of that nature. But now they're not as careful.
Exactly.
The fires.
Yes.
That has a problem aspect
Yes.
of it. And then just the utilization of just hygiene, just being clean.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Using the restroom.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, excuse the French, wiping themselves.
Yes.
It's a tough situation. A lot
Yeah.
of people don't understand the definition of nursing.
No.
That's and that goes through, and they go through the whole facet.
Yes.
But this is at the hospital.
Yes.
But when they're at home,
Right.
most folks have to care themselves.
Exactly.
And they just don't know how to care themselves. And
Yes.
then a lot of times you reach out for a provider, but you're a little embarrassed about that piece.
Yeah.
So you don't want to reach out.
Exactly.
You got me?
Yeah.
So, like you said, the accommodation aspect of it, that bathroom is very, very important to a
Bathroom's
senior.
huge.
Huge, important. And then the cooking area.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Well, those two areas.
Yeah.
Those
Kitchen
that's
and
heavy.
bath.
Kitchen and bath.
Yeah.
Taking a bath, if you
Yeah.
will, in that bathroom.
Yeah.
And having a meal of some
Yeah.
sort. And so,
Yeah.
and then that first level, like you were saying, that first level, because if you're living in a two-seater, it becomes a packing area.
It does.
you You got a whole bunch of stuff up there, and if you don't have any stairs,
Yeah.
that can be very expensive trying to put the stairs and this, that, and the other.
Exactly.
And in some cases, if you're in the VA aspect of it, they do have access. But if you have money, you can. But the majority of the folks don't have that.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So maybe downsizing is
Exactly.
another point that a person should start thinking about
Yes.
now.
Yes.
While they can.
That's a perfect
Right
example.
now.
Right
aspect
now.
of it. And
Yeah.
get downside.
Yeah.
And like you were saying before,
Yeah.
you had a roommate, if you will, that helped you
Yeah.
out, et cetera, et cetera. Maybe you can find another senior.
Exactly.
Middle-aged young person that
There's
or
so
student,
many
all kinds of
possibilities.
ways, if you will.
Exactly.
And to be able to, and with your background, that you, as I understood the way you were sharing it, the fact of the matter is, with that kind of, that's part of what you do. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm
Yes.
saying?
Yes.
And you might recommend,
Yes.
gee whiz, okay, fine. Do you have any kids,
Mm-hmm.
if you will, that I can talk to? They become part and parcel of the session.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So I just want to make sure I brought that in because I
That's huge.
heard that from you when we were talking over there.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, well, like what you were saying, it's very intimate. It's sometimes people think they're doing okay, but then when you scratch the surface a little bit, it's like you're saying, maybe they're not making the best meals, or maybe they're not showering as much as they would like to. And when you dig a little bit deeper, one question to ask is, why aren't you taking the shower? How long does it take for you to actually get dressed? And how tired are you after? Like, how long do you actually have to rest? Sometimes it's just so taxing that people don't want to do it. And sometimes there's a big fear of falling, and rightfully so. And so it's either too taxing, too much energy, or it's not very safe and they could fall with the showering. And sometimes there's some really basic solutions there to help make it easier to reduce that fear, and save your energy too. Because stepping over a bathtub is not an easy task for a lot of people, and then just taking the shower itself, it's surprising how taxing that task can be for some people. And maybe it's not for some right now, but it might be later, or maybe it's taxing for your parent, or maybe it's taxing for your spouse, so yeah, those are the areas, like you're saying, the kitchen and the bath. Those are great places to start with, just analyzing your day.
Get those two things done.
Get those two things
Earlier,
done
before you get to that point.
before you get to that point.
Yeah.
So, and like you were saying too, a majority of houses in Portland, Vancouver metro area are 2-story or even 3-story. It's not like Florida, right, where we've got a lot of these ground level homes. We don't. And so, thinking about your home, is there a way that a bedroom could potentially be moved to the first floor? And just thinking about that in advance. Your idea about house sharing is really great. There are more and more people and more models and examples of this model of living, where you might have maybe a senior who maybe they own the home, but they're still struggling to pay the mortgage.
Exactly.
And then maybe there's a college student that's going to school for nursing, right? And they can't quite afford what the rents are, and having a mutual beneficial housing agreement. So having this intergenerational living situation is really, if it's done right, it can be really rewarding. And that's something I can help people with too, because you also want to be careful with who you choose.
That's
and you
another
want a
issue.
lease, and you want everything written. You want to be very careful. But I'm just saying that these are options, and there's lots of people doing it. And then you made me think about family, because we also see children living on the other side of the country. There's a lot we can do remotely with Zoom calls, you know, so if you wanted family members more involved in some of the discussion, there's a lot of ways now that we can kind of bring people together. But I think one of the questions might be like when you go to your doctor, for example, for your annual review, if you've had a fall, that's something that's important to share, because that's an indicator for the doctor and the team that you might benefit from some other resources and benefits like you're talking about. I wish more people were educated and had an awareness of benefits and accessing them sooner than later, and not waiting for the crisis. And this is like your work. This is what you're trying to do. You're really trying to educate folks and then make those connections. And I'm trying to do the same thing. But yeah, I think for folks is analyzing a typical day, what a typical day looks like in the kitchen, in the bathroom, and opening up that conversation like with your doctor is really helpful. And I'm part of, here in Portland, there is a massive senior network here. There are all kinds of professionals that work in just the senior industry, and they're very connected. There are like 4 major networking groups that happen every month, and hundreds of people in the community come to these events just to network. They're professionals that work in the senior industry. And each person is a huge wealth of information. Like, for example, if you or someone you know might be considering looking into downsizing and moving into like an independent living or assisted living, or maybe someone has a really progressive dementia and at some point they might need to go to a memory care facility, there are people in the community that help you tour those places. They know the ins and outs of all of them in the area, and they can help give you a snapshot of what that could look like. And then you can say that's not for me, or maybe it is for me. But I think it's important, planning ahead, to know what your options are. So those people are called senior advisors or senior placement specialists. And this might be helpful for people, for adult children on the other side of the country, and their parent on the other side of the country wants to go tour, you know, different communities. This senior advisor is a person that can take you out and tour all those places. And they do it for free, because they operate much like a real estate agent. They get a commission only if you move into the facility. But they're very connected to different communities. And then there's, like, everyone knows what a real estate agent is, but not everyone knows that there are senior real estate agents, and they have a designation, and
Really?
they're the SRES, and they're trained specifically to work with folks 50 and up or 65 and up. And
So what do? You Google that? Or you,
yes, so that would be something to Google. So it's SRES, Senior Real Estate Agent Specialist.
Okay.
And I would recommend, if you are gonna look to buy a house or you want to sell your house, maybe you're thinking about a condo, maybe you're thinking about a townhouse and doing the downsizing, maybe you're really trying to find a single level home, these real estate agents understand what your needs are more so than
Interesting.
a general, and so for example, that real estate agent, they could take you to see condos and townhouses, and they recognize if that's a good investment or not, because some people might need more help. 1 to 2 years after they buy that house, they actually might need more care, like assisted living level of care. And so they're not going to just try and sell the house to you. They're going to advise you, maybe you do want to talk to this senior placement advisor, because maybe they might meet your needs of whoever. And
But that's a good point, because a lot of times they would probably have access to many homes that have been sold.
Yes.
That are already accommodated.
Exactly.
Already remodeling.
You are on
I like that.
Bruce!
It's a good deal. I like that already.
You are so good.
because a lot of times folks are at the point that say, well, gee, I want to find myself. I'd like to find a place.
Exactly.
I live on a houseboat, as you know.
I know. I love
water there. You know what I'm saying? And it's easy to jump in there too. Might just walk out there, looking for something. Where do I find a land? So you call a realtor and say, well, look, I'm looking for a house, you know what I mean? So I can put my cars and maybe take the stuff out to storage here and put that on land, and then I got that.
Totally.
But then I'm not reaching out to the right person.
No.
Oh, we got to talk about that.
We got to talk about it. I mean, the more you just share your ideas with other people, then they'll be looking for you.
Kelly, that's what you do. That's what I'm saying. You got it all. you got the whole access to it. You're a very important person. So my point is that, and then that's why you're here, because you are accessible to. You got the whole deal.
Yeah, and I think anyone can call me if I'm, what I'm.
Well, you got a business. Let's
I have
make sure
a business.
I
have a business.
We're not advertising, but you're a business.
Yeah.
But you're providing for seniors. That's the key.
And
that's a very important piece.
Focused more on the home and okay, if you want to stay in your house, okay, how can we change it so that it's safe for you?
Right.
So I'm more in with the structure and the home and general contractors who are certified in aging in place.
Right.
You really want to vet these people. You want to get 3 bids. You want to verify. So there's a whole network as well in the structure of the home.
Right.
But I also know all these other things,
I tell you
so
what,
I can make the referrals.
Right. I tell you what we'll do is that, because I want to make sure we spend some time on that other piece about the housing piece. Let's do that.
Yeah.
And then maybe come back and we can talk about. But you got the whole deal. Okay.
Yeah.
So they can always ask that question.
Yeah.
But I wanted to do is make sure you spend some time on.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. I tried to make a little listy doodle.
Get my time. I'm looking at my time.
Yeah.
I'll make sure we got our time thing going. We okay.
Okay. So I guess we could talk. We could be a Debbie Down. I could be a Debbie Downer for a little bit and just talk about the cost of if you need more care.
Okay.
And then we can go into more practical changes that you can make to your house now.
Yes, let's do that.
And then all those resources.
Yes.
So just in general, why it's important, to invest time, money, energy into making the changes now, because if you wait for crisis, then you won't have the opportunity to make your decisions. So, for example, a nursing home. 1 year in a nursing home is, and this is 2025 in the Portland, Vancouver area, is $122,000 to $134,000 a year. Yeah. A foster home, which is like a more intimate living situation, that could be $42,000 to $60,000 a year. Assisted living, where you're fairly independent, but maybe you have meals provided, and then a showering assistance. There's levels of assistance that they provide for you, that could be $55,000 to $76,000 a year. Independent living, where you're more like a senior community, that could be $30,000 a year. If you were living in your home and maybe you hired a caregiver to come in, say 10 hours a week, so like 2 hours a day, Monday through Friday, that would be about $13,000 a year. And then if you modified your house, like say you converted your bathroom to a shower that's a roll-in shower, a walk-in barrier-free shower, and then say you added a chairlift to go to your second floor.
Okay.
And then maybe in the front of the house you added a ramp.
Okay.
You know, you're looking at maybe $45,000, like a full.
Totally. Okay.
So $45,000 one time,
Okay.
or these other costs that I'm sharing, those are a yearly.
Yeah.
Or you can also spend $500 and you can start doing changes in phases. And so with, $500, you could add some grab bars, right? Grab bars are amazing. Yes, and I do have some. Where's the cue? He gave me the cue. These are vinyl coated. These are so grab bars are more designer nowadays, so they don't look as industrial, so like hospital setting. These ones are from Italy. Yeah, and
nice. They look nice.
They're really nice, and they come in
various colors.
Various colors.
I was impressed with that.
And these ones are really good for neuropathy.
Neuropathy. What?
Well, if like some people have, it's a circulation issue. So like sometimes people have it in their feet or hands, and they might get a numbness, pain, or tingling. It's like a extra sensitivity when you touch things. And these are vinyl coated, and so they're just gentler on your hand when you touch them. And this is another simple fix people can do. If you're, changing hardware in your house, changing a door, just doing a lever is really great for arthritis. There's a test you can do in your home. It's called the fist test. And you walk through your house, or if you use a wheelchair, you propel through the house, and you try and manage everything with just your fist.
Right.
And so can you open the door?
Interesting.
Can you turn a light switch on and off? Can you turn your water faucet on and off with just your fist?
Really?
Yeah. Can you open and close your shower door? Can you flush your toilet? And if you're really struggling with that, then maybe you could change some of the faucets. And, your water faucet, if ever you have to change it out, you can get one that's like a swan neck that comes up, and it has just like one lever on it. And so you can just control the temperature, the pressure with just a lever.
Interesting.
And it's really easy on your joints.
Really? Yes.
The light switches, if ever you have to change those out, getting those flat ones, instead of like the little toggle switch, but having the flat one, it's more like a rectangular one.
Okay.
And that you can just press on and off. There's lamps that have, you can just touch them and they turn on. There's lighting, and this is pretty affordable too. There's lighting you can put underneath your bed.
Interesting.
It has a sensor, and then when you step out of your bed, it turns on, because most people get up 3-4 times a night.
Oh, very much so.
Yeah. So, and you're also disoriented. Your muscles have stiffened up. Some people take medication, and that can make them a little bit dizzy when they first get out of bed. So you're at risk, for falling. And so obviously making sure you've got clear pathways, no clutter, no throw rugs, scatter rugs. Those are notorious for slipping. I mean, do you have a story?
I mean, I've gone in some houses, and I'm just there saying, well, now, you mean you sleep here? I say, gee whiz. I mean, it's cluttered because as you get older,
Yeah.
you have a lot of books all over the place. And,
Yeah.
I saw books and
I know.
the papers and clothing.
Yeah.
Even they got stairs full of clothing and this.
Mm-hmm.
That. But as you grow older, things get not necessarily neglected. It's just that the mindset,
Yeah.
you're changing.
Yes.
And so the idea is to start thinking about this now.
When you have the energy.
When you have the energy and,
Yeah.
and the insight, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And then also, you mentioned this before, there's like the home, it also means a lot.
Yes.
It's very personal.
Yes.
And there's also a legacy there, right? Like if you own the home, maybe there's so many memories
right.
there, and you
A lot
want
of
to pass
photos
those on,
and
all
all
the
that.
photos, or
Yes.
or not even if you
Yes.
own the home, but just the material
You're right.
and the
Exactly.
things.
Exactly.
And there's a lot of emotion there. So you just have to kind of start small. But the first, starting with like at least pathways
basic stuff,
and
right,
making
right,
sure
right.
that you think about fall prevention,
exactly.
because that's number one, really. And then as far as like downsizing and starting to tackle some of that stuff, there are people who that's their job.
Yes.
They're downsizers.
big time.
Big time. And I can refer you to one, but I
could you?
can't take it on because it's so it's big.
It's big. Well, they own that home and they want to stay there.
They want to stay there, which is fine. That's that's great. I just think that there's some simple things you can do to prevent falling for under $500. And then there's resources out there. There's actually in Vancouver, there's a loan closet. It's called the Caring Closet. It's a warehouse, and it's all free medical equipment.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my God, you got that?
I'll get it. I'll send it to you. Yeah, the Caring Closet.
Caring Closet.
It's only open 3 days a week. It's Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday from 10 to 1, it's right in the middle of the day. And it's all volunteers, and it's super organized. And they just have tons of equipment. Hospital beds, four-wheeled walkers, standard walkers,
Wow.
canes, hemi canes, commodes, shower chairs. They sometimes have even like a equipment for a lift. Sometimes when someone can't move or transfer anymore, they have to be lifted up with a sling. It's called a Hoyer.
Okay.
And those are for more progressive illnesses, where someone essentially is in bed or a wheelchair.
Okay.
But they can't transfer from the bed to the chair anymore. You actually have to use a device to lift you over.
And they have those there.
And sometimes they have those there.
those.
They have the slings for that. They even have incontinence pads and
Really?
briefs. Tons of them.
And to walk into the door, I take it you have to have something, either DD-214 maybe, or
No, you don't even
senior
need
citizen.
nothing. They won't even ask. You're welcome. Everyone's welcome.
Really?
Yeah. Yep. They just have you sign a waiver when you leave because it's used medical equipment,
Right,
and so
right,
they
right.
they don't want to be liable.
Okay.
But honestly, it's just
What
it's
about
a
taking
jackpot.
equipment with
You
you?
can donate.
You can
Yeah,
donate. You
yeah.
can donate.
And some people use this equipment temporarily after like a hip replacement.
Right.
They use it for 3 months, and then
Boy, that's a good
you
one.
return it because then someone really needs it.
This is Vancouver.
This is in Vancouver. We should
Okay.
do a field trip.
Yeah, let's do that.
It's so
Let's
great.
do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's a nonprofit. The CEO is a salaried position, but everything underneath, it's all volunteers.
Okay, good.
They got
good.
their blue little
Good.
vests.
Oh, we got
and their little iPads.
she's a lot of resource folks. Trust me, she's got all this situation. So really, she's not into specific. She has knowledge.
Oh,
It's almost like myself. No vets left behind.
I know.
I communicate with them. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I bring entities like yourself.
Yeah.
Where I don't have a whole big team of aspect of it.
Yeah.
I just have excess of communication.
yeah.
It's very important.
It's huge.
Well, keep going. That's
Well,
this
okay,
is
so
good.
that's I'll just say on resources local. If sometimes if you go to the doctor's office, you might see. Are we okay on time? Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
This book, like at a hospital or at your doctor's office, it's the retirement connection. Grab this. This is
Okay.
like the yellow pages.
Oh, really?
They update it every year.
Oh, really?
So this is not every single, whoever can afford
keep
it.
going.
This is like the yellow pages of resources here.
going.
And then I was going to talk a little bit about, veterans. How do you pay for some of these modifications in your house? Like, what if you want a stair lift, a chair that brings you up to your second floor? What if you want a ramp? What if you want a ceiling lift, like I was talking about?
Right.
What if, well, an elevator would be great, but I don't know if they'll pay for that. But
that's spendy.
it's spendy. But I think that that's what we're going to have to do because we have all these 2-3-story houses. So, but with the veterans, there's grants available that are specifically for home modifications. And it depends on your level of being service connected, which you know more about than I don't. I don't know entirely the qualifications, but you again, you don't know unless you try and see if you do qualify. But yeah, there's one grant. It's the Specialty Adaptive Housing Grant, and that's $121,000. And I'm working with a veteran right now, and she got that grant, and I helped her find a contractor. I vetted him, and I'm working with.
These are certified contractors.
Yes.
Specifically for this kind of.
Yes. So these contractors have to have a VA builder number.
Oh, okay.
But it doesn't necessarily say how qualified they are. That's where it falls on the homeowner
And the assessor. Like yourself, I like that.
Because you need someone to be an advocate and work for you and vet that person and make sure everything's going along.
Okay.
Because a lot can go wrong in a major home renovation.
Okay.
And then there's the HISA. It's a home improvement grant. It's almost $7,000. I think it's $6,800, and that can get you the ramps, a stair lift to the second floor. So the VA, it has some really great programs out there for home modifications. But it's making that connection, and that's why we're here.
Key.
It's like, sometimes they provide the nuts and bolts, but not the carryover or the follow through or the hand holding. And like that's where I see the need, right? And so to make sure the carryover happens.
And that's what we're talking about now. That's what that's why you're here.
Yeah.
Trust me, because that's why I reached out to you.
Yeah.
Because I'm very familiar with the government side.
Yeah.
Like the county aging.
Yeah, exactly.
Every area has an aging as far as the counties are concerned. But the bottom line, they don't reach out as much.
No.
And a lot of times when you're sitting there with them, they don't go through all these other facets.
No.
It's just a medical call.
Yeah.
They do a talk evaluation.
Yeah, and check a box.
But that's it.
Yeah.
And then people get frustrated.
Right.
And they don't visit. And then all of a sudden, time goes by. They have no rehab. Sometimes I get involved, and it's a good example. There was a guy that I met who was a veteran, happened to be a Marine, and he was living in his home. And wow, the kind of conditions that he was living.
Right.
Feces all over the wall in the restroom.
Right.
I just do it purposely just to kind of get a sense of going around the house.
Yeah.
Gee, I'd like to use the restroom.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden you pass by the bedroom and you say, wait a minute, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
His guy's a Silver Star right next to the Medal of Honor aspect of it. And it's just a sad situation, you know what I'm saying? And so I said to myself, anybody could be like that.
True.
And a lot of times you may not be there now, but you're going to be getting there. If you don't do that, do something for yourself. Like now, what we're talking about, the things that we're talking about, you're going to be in those same conditions.
Yeah.
And for some strange reason, family members are not as close.
Right.
Once their folks get elderly, if you will.
Yeah.
So that's another reason why I'm doing this show the way I'm doing it now, because that's just the way it is. That's the kind of society we live in.
I know.
Because they do have issues too.
Right.
But that's just a cycle kind of a deal.
Right.
You know.
Exactly.
So anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. Just
no,
to make sure
I
you
think
get that.
that's great. Yeah, anything you can do to like set up yourself for community, and that doesn't necessarily have to be family, you know? Like, I mean, you're so involved in so many different communities, and how important that is for your well-being, you know? And so, you know, thinking about that, there's a lot of solo agers, or some people refer to them as elder orphans. And that could be all of us, you know? And I mean, I identify as a solo ager. I don't have children. I'm not married. I've invested in my community, my friends, family. But you still could be married for 50 years and then you become a solo ager. Or you could be married for 50 years with no children. Or you could be estranged from your children. There's so many possibilities. And we're all solo, you know? And so how do you set up a nice support system for yourself? And that could be living close to a hospital. It could be close to transportation. You know, thinking about yourself 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
But folks don't do that.
Folks don't do that.
They don't do that. They don't do that. They don't do that. That's why we're doing the show.
I know.
And trust me, you're probably saying, what the heck's Bruce talking about today? I mean, why was he talking about the seniors? I'm not a senior, you know, that type of deal.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I mean, I say, okay, well, sometimes turn the age away around. If you're 60 years old, maybe you're 6 years old.
Yeah.
You're 06.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Or if you're 75, you're 57. You know,
yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'm not trying. My point is that it's going to hit us all.
Yeah.
You will be there.
Yeah.
Whether you got a multi-billion-dollar deals in the bank, you will be there.
Exactly.
And you're going to need those services.
I know.
Because when you get to that point, people are trying to take it away.
Exactly.
And then you won't have anything.
And then you won't have anything.
So then you really got a problem.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So it's very important in terms of, as we're doing this interview. In fact, we're going to have her on several different occasions.
Yay!
We're going to have her on several different occasions because we got so much to discuss.
I know.
We still got some time there. We're about 25. I'm looking at my...
Or five?
Yeah, we're in good shape. But anyway, I wanted to make sure we hit some of those highlighted points.
Yeah.
But let's get back on the housing deal. That's, I think.
Yeah.
Now, how do we access that?
Yeah.
Like
so
yourself, how do they get in touch
so
with
if you
a person
are,
like you just to give them the
well, yeah. So one, I am an occupational therapist, and occupational therapists are our general training is in this department. So. If you work with an occupational therapist, say after a hospitalization, and Medicare sends in an occupational therapist, you can work with them at home to assess your bathroom and get suggestions from them. However, I have additional training. One certification, it's called a Certified Aging in Place Specialist. It's CAPS, so CAPS. That's something that you can search for online. So you can Google CAPS Certified Aging in Place Specialist near me, and that will pull from a directory professionals who have training in working with seniors, specifically in the housing department. And that's through the National Association of Home Builders.
Oh,
This is one of their certificates.
okay, that's what they do.
That's what they do. That's one facet of certification.
Ah, okay.
And so, for example, if you're looking for a contractor, you want a contractor to come out to your house, try and find one that is CAPS certified,
Okay.
because they're going to speak your language. You don't want someone to come in and say, "Oh, I can do ADA.
Yeah, right,
I can
right,
do an ADA
right,
bathroom."
right.
Red flag.
Right. I'll call you, and then you'll get a call the next month, or maybe a month from that point in time. Say, by the way, these are eviction notices.
Yeah.
Remember that contract you signed?
Yeah, exactly.
You're out of here.
Be careful.
Yeah, you got to be very careful. So that's a very important piece.
Yes.
So how do you act? You
So,
is
yeah,
it the
so-
hospital? Or is there
Yeah,
anything
so
that-
you can get a lot of resources
off
through
this
here
page?
too. The yellow pages.
Retirement
Unfortunately,
connection.
Google's pretty great, I have to say. The library, someone can help you at the library. The library actually has a lot of workshops that they do. A lot of people in the senior network, they go to the library and they do free workshops. So if you're not into using the computer, using Google, you can go to the library or call the library. You can also call 211.
211.
211, and you can Google 211, but 211 will help you with all kinds of resources in your area.
Oh, really?
Yes, and so 211, you can ask
It's just
about.
on your phone. You do it
Yeah,
cell
on your phone. Yep.
It's like a regular call, just 211.
211, yeah.
Okay.
And you could, say you're looking for home modifications. Home modifications, that puts you in the realm of like ramps, general contractors who work more with seniors.
Okay.
So it's not remodeling, it's not renovations, it's home modifying. You're modifying your home. So I would start with CAPS, trying to find a CAPS certified builder, contractor, an occupational therapist like myself, who's CAPS certified, can come to your house and do a full assessment of your house. Take
Okay.
photos, measurements, make recommendations, give you images of products, show you what to get, what not to get.
Okay.
There's so many products out there you do not want to get. And they can help you identify a plan. The occupational therapist can give you a list to then give to your contractor.
I got you.
And say, to the contractor, my occupational therapist told me to put the grab bar here, not here. And
Okay.
I mean, sometimes you can't always put a grab bar in a certain place, but ideally you want like a first choice, second choice, where to put it. And everyone's different. So every body, you want to design your home to fit your body. There's no real standard. Like the ADA guidelines, like in a public bathroom, they're required to put the grab bar at a certain height in a certain place, but in your home you're not, and so you want to make it work for you. There are people who have had strokes and they don't have the use of one arm, and a contractor will go in and put the grab bar on the right side, for example. You really want it to work for you and your body. So yeah, CAPS. Make sure you get 3 estimates from a contractor. You can meet with a senior specialist, a senior real estate agent. Start doing research, and then just Google aging in place.
Awesome.
Google aging in place.
Well, I tell you what, Kelly, I mean, this has been great. Like I said, you got to come back.
I will.
Yeah, you gotta come
and
back
I've got
and
all
see.
kinds of people from the
Okay,
senior
good.
community that
Okay,
would
so
love
that-
to,
okay, As you can see, we've spent the time, but we need to spend more time.
We need
for
to spend
seniors.
more time.
Okay, good. Again, take care. Thanks for being with us. Kelly will be back here. In fact, I'm going to try to see if I can get her on the next show or something like that. Have a good one. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Bruce. Thank
Good,
you.
Kelly. This was great.